My name is Bridget Johnson, and I will be presenting my personal continuous quality improvement project on gluten-free living in this video. Continuous quality improvement is an ongoing process to evaluate and improve clinical practices, services, and healthcare. CQI is used in healthcare settings, but can also be used in personal improvement projects. Steps of the CQI process were used to implement my personal improvement project. My goal in this Cqi project is to have more energy, decrease joint pain, heartburn, and improve my overall health using the Plan, Do, Study, Act approach. Plan, Do, Study, Act PDSA model is a tool used in a Cqi project to define specific goals, establish measures to evaluate outcomes, plan and test changes, reflect on positive outcomes, and implement changes to improve the process. Plan is the first step in the model. I will discuss my goals, team, describe the problem, process map, analyze causes with the fishbone diagram, specific aim, and measures. Goal. CQI project goals are clear, defined, and focused with anticipated outcomes. The goal of my project is to have more energy, decrease joint pain, heartburn, and improve my overall health by adopting a gluten-free diet in my everyday life. This is important because I have Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disease, and a gluten-free diet is highly recommended. My personal team members included my husband and our 2 sons. My family is my major support system. Our family eats meals together, attends functions and activities. My family has a desire for me to be successful and will motivate me toward obtaining my goal. Additionally, my family has been reading labels to identify gluten in products. A process map is a tool utilized to visually display the details of the process, outcome, evaluation, and a restructuring of existing practices that need improvement. My process map included researching the gluten-free diet, making a list of gluten-free foods, finding markets with a selection of gluten-free food, reading labels, downloading a gluten-free application to my iPhone, buying, selecting, and trialing gluten-free food, adopting more gluten-free foods into family meals, and becoming 100% gluten-free. The fishbone diagram is also known as a cause and effect diagram that visually depicts possible causes for the problem identified. My fishbone diagram consisted of the following 6 components: availability, grocery store, on-hand availability, limited gluten-free foods; costs, high-cost foods, too costly to feed entire family, high cost of eating out; self, temptation, food preferences, compliance, and knowledge; quality, poor taste, hidden gluten ingredients, limited brands; environment, work, restaurants, family dinners; and motivation, decreased symptoms, decreased TSH levels, and improved health. A specific aim has focused, clear, and concise goals. There are 5 key components of SMART, an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timed goals. My specific aim was to adopt a gluten-free diet on February 22, 2017. Measures. I conducted small tests of significant changes throughout my day. Initial data collection reflected compliance with a gluten-free diet and included a food log and recordings of symptoms. I rated and recorded daily symptoms of joint pain using the numeric pain scale of 0 to 10. Heartburn symptoms using reflux symptom index of 0 to 13, and fatigue using the fatigue severity scale of 0 to 10. The CQI process was conducted over 28 days and was divided into pre-intervention and intervention phases. Do is the second step in the model and includes implement the plan, collect the data, record the data, document problems and unexpected effects. The pre-intervention data collection included a 14-day study commencing on February 22, 2017, which is defined as day 1. Study is the third step in the model and includes completing the project, analyzing the data, and summarizing the results. The data for the pre-intervention phase of the gluten-free diet, a 14-day cycle, is reflected in the table. The average score for joint pain was 4.21, which is defined as moderate on the numeric pain scale. The average score for heartburn was 4.14. However, there were 4 days on the cycle where the heartburn score was 10. Therefore, there appears to be a strong relationship between gluten consumption and heartburn. The average score of fatigue was 5.29, which is defined as moderate fatigue. There does not seem to be a significant relationship between gluten intake and fatigue in the early removal of gluten from the diet. There were 2 episodes on March 1st and March 5th where gluten was introduced into the diet. Symptoms mirror consumption of gluten. ACT is the 4th step in the model and includes lessons learned, change idea, and repeat cycle. In analyzing the pre-intervention phase, it was found that temptation and hidden gluten ingredients were the factors in not achieving the goal. After studying the results of the pre-intervention phase, actions included avoiding temptation, scanning food labels to avoid hidden gluten ingredients, bringing lunch to work, and eating at restaurants with gluten-free menus. On March 8, 2017, I began the intervention phase, a 14-day cycle of a gluten-free diet. Average scores reflect the following reductions from a pre-intervention phase. Joint pain was reduced from 4.21 to 1.36. Heartburn was reduced from 4.14 to 0, and fatigue was reduced from 5.29 to 3.64. During this time frame, I maintained a 100% gluten-free diet. There seems to be a direct relationship between gluten consumption and symptoms as evidenced by the results in the pre-intervention and intervention periods. Self-reflection of the CQI plan. Since I started the Cqi Project, I have researched gluten-free diets and learned of a variety of symptoms related to gluten consumption. I have a better understanding of the importance of adopting and maintaining a gluten-free diet. I have found satisfying gluten-free foods in markets and enjoy gluten-free cereals, pastas, and breads. These items have been replaced in our home, and my family is supportive of these food choices. I have found if I eat foods containing gluten, I experience ill effects such as headaches, abdominal pain, joint pain, heartburn, and fatigue. Suggestions for improving the plan include the continued maintenance of a food log, scanning food labels, and eating at restaurants with gluten-free menus. In addition, it would be necessary to have gluten-free foods readily available to resist temptation. The results of the Cqi Project suggest that there is a direct link between gluten consumption and symptoms of joint pain, heartburn, and fatigue. By completing the steps of the Cqi Project, I have defined the goal, planned the changes, studied the data, and implemented a gluten-free diet. This change project has reinforced the necessity to maintain 100% gluten-free diet to decrease symptoms and improve my overall health. I have achieved my goal. I have decreased joint pain, eliminated heartburn, and have more energy. I will remain gluten-free. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.